Good morning, and welcome to the Too Good Health Show on WIMO 1300 AM, sponsored by the Brad Akins YMCA in Winder and SNBF.com, Supernatural Bodybuilding and Fitness. We are your hosts this morning, Charles and Cheryl Barrage, owners of Too Good Health based in Winder, the premier full-service provider for all your health, fitness, and nutritional needs. Online at www.toogoodhealthllc.com. Well, to be fit, healthy, and well, it takes two. So we're here to help you today. And today we're going to be talking about obesity. Not such a favorite topic. Why does America continue to get more overweight and obese? Take it away, Charles.
Thanks, Cheryl. And hello, everybody. Good to be back on this morning. I wanted to just kind of preface this discussion today, and again, we hope y'all can join in with your input.
That's right. Our call-in number is 678-963-5482. That's 678-963-5482.
So we will be talking about obesity, and this morning I wanted to kind of take a little bit of a curve, if I could, and maybe talk a little bit more about obesity in our young folks, because we all know that obesity in America is rising, and most of the time when we think about obesity, we think about it in terms of the adult population. But I want to talk a little bit about our youth, talk about our teens, and also our young adults, because essentially when you look at something like obesity, it's something that occurs over time. So what we want to do is we want to try and see what is it that we can do to get this and kind of nip it in the bud early in life as opposed to later in life, because we know that earlier in life is when children, they're very impressionable and they are very likely to develop habits of eating, of exercising, of even just thinking about food that can kind of shape them for when they become adults. Mm-hmm. And we also know that our younger folks, our youth, our teens, as they get closer to that college age cycle in their life, that they are very impressionable. And even when they are in college, I know lots of students who have come into the college setting, and you know, it's 4 years, but it's a major 4 years for them, because some of them come in and they gain their freshman 20. Oh, and then they continue to gain another 5-10 pounds a year until they're done. And next thing you know, they leave at the age of 22 or 23, and they've got some weight issues. So I really do believe that the key is to talk about it and address it early in life as opposed to waiting until we become adults. That's not to say that change can't occur at any point, but we want to be talking about prevention. Mm-hmm. We want to be talking about how can we kind of take this and prevent this from becoming a problem later on. So that's what we're going to deal with today. Okay. So,
well, Charles, can you start out with just telling us, I think, you know, as with a lot of things in the health and wellness field and industry, we can throw around some terms and not really know what they mean. So can you give us a working definition of obesity? What's the difference between overweight and obese?
Yeah, obesity, usually when we talk about obesity, we are talking about body fatness. We're talking about a percent or even a ratio of fat versus, say, lean body tissue, which would include your muscle, your bone, your organs, and other tissues in your body. So overweightness is a little bit different. Overweightness just considers all those factors together. Overweightness does not necessarily target or pinpoint your body fat and pull it out. It factors it in with the rest of your body weight or the contents of your body. So that's the big difference. So there are folks who may be considered overweight who may not be considered obese. They're two separate terms, and obesity carries with it the greatest risk for health and weight-related problems or conditions such as diabetes and cholesterol and cardiovascular disease.
Okay, so obesity is just the amount of fat that we're carrying in our body.
It is essentially the percentage or the ratio of fat to lean body mass.
Okay.
Okay, and overweightness is basically your height to weight. It kind of determines how much you should weigh based upon your height. Okay, meaning, how big is your frame, how tall are you, and then it gives you a number such as 170 pounds, which it says for a person of your height you should weigh this amount. Okay, so again, it doesn't really pinpoint or target the body fatness, which is the major risk factor when it comes to health problems.
Okay. That works.
So what I want to do is I want to start off by talking about a little article I found in USA Today, and this is an article that highlights the issues that we have in the United States right now with our youth and with them just not getting enough physical activity. The article says, send the kids out to play and go with them.
Oh, okay. I hear it.
So I kind of like that because
That's right.
when I was growing up, this was a long time ago, but when I was growing up, our parents our parents were not seen, anywhere close to being with us when we were outside playing. In fact, we didn't want them there. And we were out, we were getting in trouble. We were playing sports, we were doing all kinds of stuff, and it was just so much unorganized activity. But we were doing all the things that we wanted to do, and we were playing, seasonal sports. We were out riding our bicycles. We were doing all kinds of stuff, and it was fun. Okay, and at some point, our culture seems to have kind of gotten a little bit away from that.
Yeah.
It's not that likely, though I'm sure there are folks out there who still do this, but they just kind of let their kids, just kind of let your kids go out and play. That doesn't happen quite as much anymore, or at least not to the scale it used to.
Well, I like the title on that article, because I think as parents and for you listeners, we have 2 children, 2 little girls that are 2 and 4 years old. And so, we're aware, and sometimes we can even get into that. You want to get things done in the house. We've got the fenced-in backyard. Go outside and play. And we can be very, I think, very much more aware and cognizant of what our children need, because they're young, they're impressionable, they're growing, so they need sunlight, they need activity, they need healthy foods. But we forget that, we still need that, and maybe even more so, because we're growing older, and we're growing the other direction. growing side to side instead of up and down anymore.
Yeah, we got a whole lot more issues than they do.
So we need it too. So, I think that's a wonderful encouragement, to parents to go with them.
Yeah, so for our parents, and those of you who are listening, take that as an encouragement, as maybe as a little bit of motivation to say, okay, what is it that I can start doing with my kids?
Yeah.
And actually what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk a little bit about this article and then maybe give you some ideas. And the article, again, was USA Today, and the author was Nancy Helmick. And let me just tell you a few things that she was identifying and noticing as she was talking with parents and also talking with their children. One of the things that she noticed was that as a lot of times parents will want their kids to get out and start doing things, and parents will start structuring things. They'll start having their kids go to gymnastics, they'll go to dance, they'll go to these different activities, these different play groups, and oftentimes the parents will kind of go and they will be the observers. They'll go and they'll support their kids, and they will do all that they can do to be there for them. But, one of the big things, particularly with this article, is saying, well, how about motivating and encouraging them in a little different way, such as with your level of activity?